welcome back to another podcast episode with the official Otaku Crew. I'm your host, well, somewhat your host. I'm only doing the introduction and the outro. For today's episode, I have Hammy, who'll be hosting, Tensa, and Wise Man Lee.
Hello, guys.
Today's episode is, like, you could say a much anticipated episode. The thing is, we've talked about this topic in the past, like our first Halloween episode when the official Otaku Crew was first starting out. And you can find that on Anchor.fm, Spotify, as well as YouTube at The Official Otaku Crew. It was a Halloween episode, and we talked about Junji Ito. Today's episode, we are actually discussing the trending short anime series, Uzumaki. Now, before we go any further, a little bit of some background information for you guys. If you didn't know, the anime was actually announced back in 2019 at the Crunchyroll Anime Expo. It was basically showcased that it would be a four-part series.
Miniseries.
I guess, yeah, mini-series. I would say prelude to a mini-series. And that was the case. But then, of course, COVID hit and many things went down the drain. But 2020, they did announce that they would begin the production of the series. And of course, the distributors for it would be Adult Swim. Yes, most importantly, the director. Now, the director is the same person throughout. It's the same storyboard is written by. It's Hiroshi Nagahama, but he only does episode 1. 2 and 3 is done by another director. I don't know any of their works. And the fourth episode is not credited to a director. At least that's what my research showed. You guys can fact check me and tell us about this in the comments later.
How about new?
Hiroshi, very specifically, what I found what stood out about him was that he did 2 series that stuck out. Mushishi, which, if you haven't seen, spectacular anime, you should see it because I can see the similarities between the art style, the creatures there, and Uzumaki, and as well as, unsurprisingly, the 2001 Fruit Basket series. That's just some stuff under his belt, but I'm sure there's more if I really looked into it. So yeah, Hammy, take it away. Tell us what we're talking about.
All right. Well, on the topic of the production behind the anime, another thing I wanted to point out was the composer of the music is actually Colin Stetson, and he's best known for his work on Hereditary, which, as you guys know, is a terrifying horror movie. So I feel like he did a really good job giving like this creepy, uneasy vibe to the entire show and the atmosphere. A lot of like stringy, stuttery violins, high pitched sounds, just overall a really creepy vibe. So that's another really great thing. Unfortunately, though, production hell definitely took its toll on the show, and I am a bit conflicted because I'm a huge fan of Junji Ito in general, and the first episode was absolutely amazing. It was everything I wanted and more. And then the quality kind of slowly declined from there. Like 2, 3, 4, it started to like go down, down, down. But I still really enjoyed it in the end, actually. I don't know if maybe that's cope, but the music combined with the kind of jittery and weird animations that weren't perfect gave it a really good uncanny vibe, I feel like. Like I feel like it suited the story. There
Uh,
were some points obviously where I couldn't defend it with that, but for the most part I feel like it wasn't as bad as a lot of people are complaining, honestly.
People are actually complaining?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that like the animation is like really bad in the last 3 episodes, and like I said, there are some scenes like distinctly I remember this one scene in the final episode where like Shuichi, not Soichi, my bad, is falling down like into the void, and it literally is giving like
It's like
PowerPoint
a still
present.
image.
Yeah, it's like PowerPoint presentation. They dragged and dropped him.
I am very disappointed.
Oh yes, they did the click. We
They
saw
did
it.
they
That
did
was
him
funny.
dirty.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
so
that was
like
funny. That was absolutely
things,
funny.
things like that are like comically bad, but in general, like a lot of the other things that people were complaining about, I didn't really see. The art style was pretty faithful to the original work. Like the weird jitteriness and like stiffness of some of the characters. Yeah, maybe it's not the best quality, but it suited the vibe of the story anyway, so I can't complain.
Well, haters are always going to hate on anything that has to do with Junji Ito, but I'd say that this Uzumaki series was a lot better than the Junji Ito series on Netflix. If I
Yes,
compare it,
yes, 100%. I was going to say that too. Like in comparison to the Junji Ito collection, they actually did the work way more justice in my opinion. Like they maintained the art style a lot better. That being said though, making it a 4-part miniseries may have been a bit of a mistake. But I'll elaborate more on that in a little bit. What did you guys think of the anime?
Tensa, I see you shaking in your chair. I feel like you want to say something.
Not yet. For me, it was like for the fact that they even put that short story as an animation, I was just glad, I guess. I'm going to be frank with you. I was not even bothered by the weird parts of the animations because I was entranced by it to the point that I didn't care about the bad things about it, if that makes any sense.
Tensa, you
No.
say the weird parts, like you mean like the PowerPoint presentation weird parts, or you mean the
Yes.
weird creatures weird part? You have to
No.
muffle.
I meant about production.
Okay, production. Gotcha. Okay, I wasn't super sure.
Because the creature part, that's part of the series. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I do have one gripe about it.
Mhm.
They did not install the lost chapters.
Mm,
There's
yeah.
the lost chapter, and it's not even in the series.
I
They
was
should have
gonna
at
get
least
into
tried to
that.
sneak it in there, and that would have been funny.
So with that lost chapter, was there more story to tell?
No, it's just one chapter, but it's
So it's
like it's
yeah, go
part
on.
of the story, but like in the manga, it's like the absolute last chapter.
Does it contribute to the plot at all, or is it just like a whole side thing?
It's technically it's related. It's a bit of both. It's related to the plot, but it's kind of weird.
I mean, they set the standard for weird pretty high, so if you're saying
No,
that, it
no,
must
no.
be even higher.
You don't get it. Face weird.
Ah, face weird.
No. Space. Outer space.
Oh, outer space. I heard face. Because I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure episode 2 broke that, but outer space,
No.
Jesus.
You don't get it. We're talking about Gurren Lagann Galaxy's bullshit.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. I only actually discovered the lost chapter like a long time after reading the original like Uzumaki. I literally thought it was like a fan work at first.
No, the point is it's called the like it's kind of like the lost episode.
Yeah, but like I was so surprised to find out that it was canon. Like that's crazy.
It's canon and part of the third book.
Yeah, I mean
So
it's
if
super
you
cool though.
actually owned it, you would be like, you see the story, you see it end, and you're like, what the?
No, it's just like kind of confusing, but
Yes, because actually it's between part 2 and part 3. That's why.
oh.
That's why it's so weird because the time placement is so off.
Yeah, I was actually gonna agree with you, Tensa. Like, I find the animation and everything is like such an afterthought. Like, I know a lot of people who watch anime nowadays are like so, I don't want to say elitist, but like
They kind of are.
animation matters so much to them. And while I appreciate great animation, like you see in Jujutsu Kaisen and like Demon Slayer, I can also appreciate stuff that's not like 100% amazing quality either. Like, I don't think
Well,
it has.
I think that's the problem here because now we're more invested about the studio that makes it,
Yeah,
and it's to the point that I feel like people care less about the story.
literally, yeah. Like one anime,
Like
I'm gonna go off topic just a little bit, but one anime that I've noticed a lot of people have a hard time like even being interested in when I recommend it to them is Pollock by Clamp, and it's literally all because of the art style and the weird
Oh,
janky anime.
Xxolic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's
Oh,
like
I've read that one.
yeah, the story is so good, but like whenever I try to recommend it to somebody, especially like a new anime enjoyer, they're like, "Oh, this animation's crap. I'm not watching this." I'm
Well,
like,
that's the thing. In my case, I haven't watched it, but I've read it. Because in my case, it was like, oh, it's the other side of Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicles, right?
mhm.
And that got me interested because it was Clamp, and me, it's like everything Clamp related. I'm just gonna take a read. It's
Yeah,
just
fair enough.
anyway. Getting back on topic.
Maybe-
Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, to give you an idea, the animation is a little bit janky because it's from the early 2000s, so it has that like
But that's
old
what
school
made me
feel.
enjoy it.
Yeah,
Like-
exactly. And the
like-
art style is a bit weird, but I liked it personally. I find it suited it really well.
Well, yeah, because it's like some and like yes, it's a new animation and stuff, but the retro feel made it so special.
Exactly.
And can we comment on like the lack of color in it? Because if they had put color onto this anime series, I don't know how invested I would be versus the traditional black and white. I think due to the lack of it, that's what kept me very like a little more
I
invested.
completely agree with you. I think what drew me more into this anime was the devoid of the color, because it bring you this very dreadful, dreary atmosphere. So
Well,
you're right. If you put color in it, you wouldn't take it that seriously. Sorry, you're gonna say something, Cammy?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I feel like that's one of the biggest differences between this and like the Junji Ito collection too. Like, I feel like the Junji Ito collection probably would have been at least slightly better if they had made it look more like it was coming off the pages of the manga, like they did with Uzumaki. You know what I mean? Or at least attempted to give it that vibe.
Right. The way that I was going to say it is that for me, I didn't mind that there was no color. Like to me, it made no difference. However, because I remember how they look like in color. That's kind of why.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
However, it just worked not because it was dreary, because they were in black and white. You were always drawn to the spirals much
That's true.
because you were no longer concerned about color. You were more concerned about the shapes.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big main theme in the show is the shapes.
Yes.
And it's not just one particular shape. Also, you have the spiral, but you also have the twisting and turning. You know, like you saw the double helix. You know, that kind of like just
Yes,
going-
anything that has a spiral theme. It was not just your
circular
like,
motion. Yeah.
Yeah, like for example, the first episode about how Suichi's father, Mr. Saito, was complaining about how he does not have his fish cakes. You know, the Uzumaki fish cakes?
Yeah.
And how he got obsessed with the potterer. I believe that was Kirye's father.
Yep.
And with, oh yes, you are perfect in that art with the spiral and the pottery. I was like, what? It was
Yes,
fun.
he becomes one with the spiral. I was like, "Whoa, man!"
It was good. It was good. Like,
and even in death, the man's still haunting them. They burn his ashes, and there's spirals in the sky. I'm like, oh shit! Then it descends into the pond. Oh shit!
Shit just got real.
It's not
and
ending.
he
But you know
haunts
what's
his
funny?
wife. And when she finally realizes that there's a spiral in her eardrum, oh no!
Oh god.
Yo, my boy Shinji, like the moment he saw that, he's like, "Yo, doc, take that down, take that down." Mom comes in, she's like, "Where is it?" "Oh, it's all in your head." It's like, "Oh, okay."
See, you hallucinating. Huh?
I love that the doctor
And
just
then
gaslights
she
her for her
looks
own
at
good.
the mirror and just stabs herself in the ear. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, dad just can't
All
stay
because
dead.
because the husband's like, "Oh, you have the spiral in the ear. You must see it." She's like, "No."
Yeah.
No! God, please, no! No!
No! No!
That is one part that I found really interesting too, both about the anime and the manga, because it's present in both. But like during all of up till this point, a lot of people assume like, oh, it's like in her mind because clearly she's very psychologically disturbed that she's like seeing her husband and stuff and he's asking her to join the spiral and everything.
But I like
then,
the imagery of the husband actually speaking to her.
yeah, but I'm saying like then he reveals to her that there's a spiral in her ear, which she doesn't necessarily know about prior. So it's like, did she subconsciously remember the poster? Or was he an actual supernatural being like telling her that and giving her that information?
I think it's all supernatural. Let's be
as per the
honest.
product
Yeah.
of the curse, it was definitely not her, but one could say that it could have been the husband, or it could have been the nature of the curse coming to her in that form. You know?
But yeah, but then that would make it supernatural, so yeah.
It is supernatural.
Mhm.
Well, it is no supernatural because you have snail people also, like humans turning into
Oh,
snail.
yes.
What?
Threw me
Yum,
off. I was
yum.
like, what the heck is happening?
Oh, yes. My favorite part is when they were not only when they were delicious, one, there was like the two guys. Wait a minute. How come they have eggs? They're both guys. Oh no, snails are hermaphrodites. I was like, oh no.
I was like,
Yeah.
this is not happening.
The gender didn't matter, man. They just decided to get it all.
They
and move
they
it next
just
corner.
did it, and that was nasty as hell.
The-
Oh, that's nasty.
And
victim
the
bully.
best part, exactly, that's the best part. It was the victim and the bully. Like the bully was just making fun of him because he's so slow and everything. Then he became a snail, and he's like,
now
look at this.
now they went and on. I'm like, bruh, no.
Then
Guys, I had a question
and the
actually.
prof. Mhm.
I had a question.
Yeah, and the teacher, yes,
So
absolutely.
do you think this curse kind of punished those people who are like doing the punishment themselves, if you know what I mean? Because the bully guy was punishing that kid, and guess what happened? He turned into a snail too. And then there was another instance.
That's entirely coincidental, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
But
was
there was
gonna say,
another-
I feel like the spiral doesn't discriminate.
No,
There
the
was another
spiral is
instance-
stated not to discriminate. It is actually.
No, but there was another instance in the episode where someone was doing something, and then that person got the same punishment as what it was. I forgot what it was, but I found that thing where like it seems to be punishing those who are doing like bad things to others.
It's
But in the end,
unfortunately
everybody got their cake. So it was like, yeah.
I see where
Fucked.
I see where you might be thinking that was punishment, but one could actually say that people that are twisted were already twisted by the curse in the like those, because think about it this way. The spiral twist, but when we talk about twist, we're not talking about physically twisted. I believe that the runaway lovers, we were talking about how people's personalities were twisted by the curse already, and they did not became deformed yet. So there was a theme of twisting. So
That's true. Each episode, if you think about it, had their own theme. So like the second episode, you had the scene started with the snakes twisting, and the girl was asking, "Oh, why are they doing that?" And the guy was smart because I don't know, he must be a science whiz kid. He was like, "Oh, that's actually how they mate." So when you get to the end of the episode, the guy and the girl is running away from their families, right? And then he's like, "Yo, girl,
and
come
they
twist with me."
become exactly that.
Exactly. So it was already preluding to what was gonna happen. They're gonna become twisting like snakes and just, I guess, I don't know, bang each other.
Yeah, and that's what made it interesting to be in with.
So
There's
that theme of the twist, and then the third episode also had a very interesting theme with the pregnancy and stuff and blood. Yep. You know, with the pregnant ladies, the mosquitoes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was
creepy.
terrifying.
That
That
was
one was
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was really interesting. And I was actually going to kind of get into like some of the sub stories of Uzumaki too, because for those listening who didn't know, Uzumaki was originally published as like a serialization. So it wasn't all published as one work. It was published in like separate smaller stories
They were
taking
short
place
stories
under this
bundled
big
together, I
story.
believe.
What?
I think they were all short stories bundled together in the same universe, really.
That's what I mean. It was all like short stories taking place under like one big story and larger context of the spiral curse and how it's affecting people. Um, and unfortunately, because there were only 4 episodes that were half an hour long each, I
We
feel like
couldn't catch all of them.
they cut down a lot too. They didn't elaborate a lot on certain ones. Like one of my favorite sort of sub stories in Uzumaki, the manga, is the whole thing with Mitsuo. In
Ooh.
the anime and manga both, he's this kid that's obsessed with Kyrie, and he like tries to hit on her by scaring her, and
Yes, and in this show, it's like we just think of as the clown that committed suicide, and I was like, bruh.
Oh, he's the one who was run
Exactly.
over, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he's the Jack in the
that
Box
guy.
guy. Yes, he's Jack in the Box guy.
So the thing is, in the manga though, spoiler alert, he actually there's more to his story than that. It haunts Kyrie after he dies.
I would.
He
Oh, so that kind of
passes
got brushed over.
Yeah, he
Wasn't really
passes
mentioned that
away,
much.
and she gets haunted by Mitsuru and feels like this immense guilt for his death because it was like his love for her that caused him to die, she thinks. So she digs up his corpse to make sure he's really dead after she experiences a disturbing vision. And when they dig up the body, they see that his corpse is still animated and it like jumps and lunges at them. And then it
Oh,
falls
they changed the scene in the anime.
a
Ah,
lot,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
They neglected this entire thing. And it's funny because when he springs out at them, it gives the human Jack in the Box sort of vibe.
Oh, that explains what we saw at the end. Because I'm like, what's this random thing at the end of episode 2 coming at
That was
Kirie?
him.
I was like,
That was
oh.
absolutely him. But
Oh, they skipped a
I
lot
felt
then.
like, but I felt like there was a context missing as well.
Why did
I did not
Exactly.
notice, but I did not notice that that was the context missing.
You know, Hammy,
Yeah,
I'm a little
exactly.
upset now because you're right. They were 30 minutes. If they were doing 4 episodes, at least make them an hour.
He's out of line, but he's right.
At least.
Exactly. Like
Oh yes,
literally
it deserved much more.
yeah, there's so many short series that work perfectly well and tell a cohesive story by making their episodes an hour long each. And I feel like Uzumaki could have done that too if not for the production hell they went through. And it probably would have given a lot more wiggle room to like fully elaborate on stories like this and stuff too.
Yeah.
But here's my question. Now, this is, I guess, one of the more main stories that Uzumaki is known for. The character of Azami.
Yes.
Okay, now,
Oh,
I don't
her.
know how different she is from the manga, but what is this fixation she had on our main boy? Like, he rejects her. She's like, why are you rejecting me?
Because reasons!
And her birthmark or scar or whatever just keeps growing and growing and growing. I was so lost by this. Someone give me some context.
Well, in the manga,
So
sorry, you want to say it?
I will say part of it, but you will definitely mention the manga part. So
Mhm.
here in the anime, it's because if you paid attention to Azumi, she is not interested by the boys that are interested in her. So of course, the one that rejects her, oh, this one's interesting. That's women want things that they can't get. That's
I
normal.
had a feeling you'd say that for some reason, but okay, I'm following.
However, Suichi, the moment that he noticed that the scar is a spiral curse, she's like, yeah, get the hell out of this city, because the more that she stays, the more that the spiral develops. That was kind of the entire thing.
She's very oblivious to the fact that there's a spiral on her head also. Which is why she kind of draws in more into Suichi.
Well,
She's like,
yeah,
why are you rejecting me?
and it doesn't help that Suichi doesn't really explain too much about it. She just tells her
Yeah.
to get the fuck away.
Run, bitch! Run!
This is how you gotta do it sometimes.
Base.
Yes. And, although that he's being very based, it ends up biting her in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Hammy, what about you? What
No,
were you gonna
no,
tell
no,
me?
no, no. But here's the thing, Leifan. You're forgetting also. Shuichi is kind of in a relationship with Kiri, so she's kind of like Mr. Steal your boyfriend, and he's like,
Oh yes, but that was
yeah, and
never gonna happen. We
Yeah, of
knew it
course
was
not.
not happening.
She's
For
not
sure.
a girl's girl. She deserves the spiral to eat her.
Oh shit. Okay, but yeah, that's it. So the
I
guy's like,
agree.
"Yo, man, you is a crazy bitch. Just get the hell out of town."
But wait, Hammy, you were gonna tell me something though from the manga perspective.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, I'm not sure if they elaborated a whole lot more in the manga, but I do remember that it's mentioned that her spiral scar is like a curse in a sense, as part of
It
the
is.
spiral curse. But the way it
It is.
affects her is that it causes boys to be attracted to her, like every
Correct.
boy to be drawn to her.
In
However,
here it's shown. It's
yeah,
not explained. It's
exactly.
shown. It's
But
remember like the other girl with the spiral hair,
that's
Yes,
true, you
and
the
know?
hair
because
battle.
it was kind of in the same episode, you could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could tell.
So the spiral curse affects everybody differently. And for Azumi, it affected her by like sort of, I guess, rooting into this scar she had on her forehead and becoming this like charm that attracted all of the boys. But the thing is, she wasn't attracted to any of these boys. So it was a curse at the end of the day because she wanted nothing to do with them. And then the one boy she genuinely is interested in, Shuichi, is not interested in her. And
But she only
then
got interest. But she only got interested once he rejected her. I
yeah,
did not
but
said anything. I'm curious to know if had she gone after him. You know what I'm saying?
but
The
but
point is that she's obsessed.
the thing is, I think
Afterwards,
that's a manifestation of the spiral curse. It's the spiral curse that causes her to be obsessed
To
with him.
chase after him. Okay, I see. That part has not been elaborated.
Because obviously, like, sure, a lot of girls would be like, well, why isn't he interested in me if every other boy is? But I think the thing that drives her to madness is the spiral curse itself, and that's why it ultimately ends up consuming her in the end.
which was
makes
the
sense.
best scene ever.
It is.
Oh yes,
It's such a good scene.
it was fun. It was fun.
It was
It was
something.
funny throughout the entire like series. Like the human adults, they're very like oblivious to all the events that's happening around them. They don't seem to notice until like maybe the death of
Until it's too late.
Shuichi's. Well, yeah, until it's too late. But I think they started noticing when they were cremating Shuichi's dad, right? When he passed away, and then
Mhm.
all of a sudden you see his face, his shape in the clouds. You're like, what the hell is that? And then the mom was like, oh my God, it's my husband. He's turned into a spiral. And he's
Yes,
like,
I think the wife. Well, that's the thing, because the wife noticed it while the other ones did not understand. She went insane
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He did. But like I said, most adults they're like passing by life so quick. They're like nothing. It's not facing them as much until like certain more events happen.
To be
Like
fair, with episodes 3 and 4,
Mhm.
we don't notice that there's an actual 10-year time skip.
From what I can tell, it feels like a few days or at most weeks has passed by since their
Yeah.
curse has started with his dad.
And the guy actually said that a decade has passed. He actually said it.
Oh yeah, the man with the beard, right? Who is cooking
Yes.
the snails.
No, I meant
Isn't he at
no,
episode
like when
4?
I'm talking about when they come back and the city turned into a spiral.
Oh, okay, that time.
Yeah. That I know. That I know. That time has passed by because you could tell he has a beard and everything. So a decade passed by.
Yes,
But from
but
episodes 1 to 3, it feels like it's been a few days, a few weeks. You know, like
yes,
it's been
that's
like
the thing. It really
some time has passed.
seems pretty quickly, but then you have the sun. You've been gone for a decade, kids.
So pretty
Yeah,
much
that was
this power curse kind of plays with time also. Like you don't know what's happening, like what's real, what's not, how much
well,
time
yeah,
has
the
passed or
sense
not.
of time got distorted, but
Yeah, the
everyone
sense
can
of time and reality. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
But
I have to admit though,
And
episode 4 is where it gets very ridiculous.
yes,
Like the butterfly gang, the dragonfly gang. I was like, what the
oh, the
hell?
dragonfly gang was fun. Come on.
best gang.
Yeah.
That
They're
was
just-
cool. They
They're
were
just
cool.
flying into the whirlpool. They're like, yes, take us. And then just like a gang that can fly. I was like, where does this come from? I'm like, oh my god, this is so
I
ridiculous. But
know,
I
and
was all for it.
they seem unrelated to the story at all, and that's what
Exactly. They're embracing the chaos. Like, all right, guys, let's go out, chase after those people, get those snail people.
Yes,
Oh man,
and I like the fact that they're actually eating the snail people. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I was not expecting that.
escargot,
Yeah.
man. That's a French delicacy cuisine.
Yes, it is, but
Yes.
Also,
Then you,
in this context, it's cannibalism, kind of.
oh,
yes,
is
Technically.
they're snails? I
So
don't know.
technically,
there's some
yes.
there's some
Actually,
opportunists.
one of them
they
actually
were
said it.
humans.
No, that's the thing. Someone actually says, yeah, they're snail now. They're no longer humans.
Oh.
Someone actually said it word for
Hmm.
word.
And
Yeah.
well, I found it funny that when the Butterfly Gang, then the Firefly Gang, whatever, the last
Fire.
Airbenders, whatever you want to call them, Kitty just
last
all of a sudden
Airbenders.
just airbends them away or just pushes one and they go flying. I'm like, what just happened here?
What just happened?
Yeah.
Because things happen in such a manner that I'm
There
like,
were there were so much good ridiculous moments. Like I like the hair battle between Kiri and the other psycho bitch who was like jealous
oh
of
yes,
her.
that's how I understood the Scar Spiral did the same thing with the boys, because the Spiral hair did very similar.
So there's a
Yeah.
theme of jealousy also that comes into play then in this episode. Because I believe it's all
Yes.
happening in the same episode. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very interesting, man. So many themes involved. It was amazing.
Can someone actually explain to me the lighthouse? Because here's the thing. The ending of the lighthouse episode, they show that, oh, if you get caught in the light, the kids get roasted alive. Fine. Kitty literally falls and the other kid falls. The light flashes, but she's perfectly okay. I'm like, didn't you get roasted alive?
The kid got roasted, no? The kid got
She's
roasted.
not perfectly
no.
okay.
One of the kid got roasted.
did
The
get
other
hurt,
one
though.
survived.
Main character
The,
armor.
the, the,
Gotcha.
the one, it's more that the other two actually managed to escape. Like, they were injured, but they escaped. But the one who fell down the stairs, oh no, he's dead.
But Kitty
Absolutely.
fell
What,
down
did
the
he-
stairs too, so I'm like, why
No,
she
I
alive
think
here?
what happened was one of the kid he got left behind, no, because he tripped. So he
No,
got
the
left behind,
one
so
who
she
got
kept-
left behind has been roasted. He's barbecue.
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, he's barbecued, and then her brother and her
Yeah, they
fell,
survived.
but they survived just in the nick of time.
Yes, they
Yeah.
barely survived, but they did.
And yeah,
Hmm.
she wasn't completely like free of injuries. She had burns. That's why she was in the hospital.
And that's what led to the
Yes.
the mosquito episode, right? That's
Yeah.
what followed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm
Yes.
forgetting the sequence for some reason.
But as usual, all the adults are very oblivious.
They're
to what's
oblivious
happening.
until
They
some
don't know
weird
what's
shit
happening.
happens.
They're like, nah, it's fine. There's no
Oh,
mosquito people. What are you talking
and I
about?"
love how the nurses, they were like, no, not the mosquitoes, but at night they were the mosquitoes. I'm like, no way.
Bro, I think what messed me up is when the kid was trying to go back inside the belly too. I was like, what the hell is this, man?
Very
Yeah.
Prometheus like.
That is one scary shit, man. I don't know.
And what was it like? The doctor was harvesting one of the pregnant women. Like the umbilical
Yes.
cord kept becoming a mushroom. I'm like, what am I watching?
The
What is
placenta
this?
mushroom. I was like, ew.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that? What's that, brother?
Oh yes, and she needs fresh blood, and I was like, no.
Hey, you know what to use? You need a can of aerosol for that stuff. Apparently that works.
Oh yes, that was funny.
Just in the nick
While
of
they were
time.
Yes, that's what makes it fun, actually.
But didn't our main character boy like leave it when he was when the mosquitoes were in the room? He's like, oh, kill them. Then he just left it for her. I'm like, damn, that's some convenient timing right there.
Yes, he left it as he got kicked out because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
he noticed. He noticed.
Can we talk
like-
about?
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Amy. No, well,
I was just gonna
I was
make a
gonna-
joke.
Mhm.
I was just gonna say Shuichi is like the most prepared person ever. Just carries bug spray everywhere. He's got like a whole survival kit that we don't even know about.
He technically
Man,
does.
the
And
man is
strapped.
smart.
He's strapped.
He's
Man is
Because
smart.
the point is that
He's the only. Yeah, go
the
on.
fact that he's the most knowledgeable about the spiral thing, to the point that he's the one who explained about the origin of the spiral underground.
He's the exposition ground. He's the exposition
So
guy.
he
He
was
just put out
actually
the
prepared.
BS. Yeah.
Like like how Kurosuchi is crazy prepared in Bleach.
Yeah.
Suichi is as crazy prepared as a human can be
Now, okay,
by
fine.
those standards.
Yeah, for sure, Tensa. I agree with you. He was mad prepared and everything, and he's explaining the lore and everything. But how did he know? Now, I feel like that's where the disconnect is coming from, because maybe I didn't see it in the anime. Do they ever hint like
Well,
how does he know this
They've
knowledge?
actually hinted that this is a curse on this city that happens every
Okay,
few
someone
hundred
actually
years.
someone actually stated it prior then.
Yes.
Okay,
who
then
was it?
then
Who was it?
Because in the end, when he explains it, and near the end, you actually see the city destroyed, rebuild, and the cursor begins again.
yeah.
Yep. I saw that.
So
I think
it's an actual cycle.
I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a post-credit scene which shows that the city gets destroyed and then the city begins
Yes.
anew.
That's the one I'm talking about.
What's it called? Many years, many decades, centuries passes, so the city
It's
is anew.
it's stated to be
Of course, the
centuries,
curse
but yes.
restarts. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yes.
the spirals in the water started. I think that's how it started in episode 1.
In the sky
Yes.
too. Yeah,
In the
pretty
sky
much.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what they did.
Hmm.
So we are to presume. I was gonna ask at the end of episode 4. We are to presume that pretty much everybody died. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but they don't.
not die, wise man. They became part of the spiral, as they would say. They're not dead. They're part of the spiral. Come on.
Thank you for that.
Yes,
I'd rather become a snail.
that would still actually confirm that they die, actually.
Shh,
Because
we don't use the
centuries
D
has
word
passed.
here.
They get deleted.
No.
I'm gonna be a little nicer. They get assimilated.
Like the little brother was. My God, I felt bad for him. Like her brother becoming a snail. I'm like, oh, not him too.
Yeah, me
Spoiler.
And people were trying to eat him, and I'm like, no, stop.
Leave my boy alone.
Why must the good die young?
Oh,
That was
that's right.
mean.
And then one
He
dude
dies anyway, though.
Yeah, then one dude is trying to get in the shell of the snail. He's just eating. He's just like crawling in. I'm like, what is going on?
Like the show.
No place like home, I know,
That's
but
hungry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
evil.
damn.
Oh man.
I actually wanted to mention about Shuichi because you guys were talking about how like he's the most prepared and he's one of the first to notice it. I think it's because one of the first people to really be affected by it was actually his father. Like
Yeah.
if you don't like in case you forgot, it was him who is like the catalyst of the events that take
Yes.
his
Yeah.
obsession with the spiral. So I feel
And
like
which,
he kind of caught
for
up
all
on that.
we know, most of his information could have been from the father in the first place.
Yes, but
Because of the obsession.
I feel like while Shuichi got a lot of information from his father was more biased about it being like a beautiful thing.
While
like-
he knew it for what it was, and that was not a beautiful thing.
But Shuichi knew what it was. Like, because
Yes.
he's like an outside perspective.
Yes.
So
While
his
the
dad
other
was
one
like,
was infected as become
Yeah.
one of us.
yeah,
One
exactly.
of us.
But I feel like that's why Shuichi is like the one who's wise to it from the beginning.
I see what you're saying.
Do you guys ever think
Also-
of go into more of the lore and how the curse started?
Ooh.
Actually,
Hmm.
I don't
They
remember.
did not. They did not talk about how it all originally began. Only that the cycle was there every few hundred years.
Yeah, that's
Would you
pretty much all they
would you think they would kind of maybe expand on that and see how it goes?
They
maybe as a
did
prequel or
say that
continue?
some people built that, and that tribe is gone. But what they left behind had a sentience of its own. imagine the spiral being the will of that tribe.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what we were left with.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
not much information, but just enough to say there's something, I guess.
Maybe it's better for a mystery to remain a mystery then.
It's limited exposure, basically. It's like small snippets, but it's never direct. You have to like.
Yeah,
It
you
comes.
have to really pay attention.
Tensa, there was actually one character when I told you that the Uzumaki series came out. You said it was like some shark head guy. Can you give me a little bit of detail
I
on that?
think that's another story.
Oh, that's a whole other
entirely.
story. Okay, it's not part of
Yes,
Uzumaki.
because I know what you mean, like the goddamn Batman meme with the shark and the Batroom. I think that's another story entirely.
Okay. Now, Wise Man.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, no problem. Wise Man, I know like you did touch very briefly on the topic, and we sort of said that's up that could be applied to anything. That the will of the spiral is punishing wrongdoers and everything. I could see the point, and there's also the other point of that peeping Tom in episode 2, I think. He's like looking at Kirie through the hole and everything. And then he comes through the wall and he's all, I don't know, like he has
Oh, that one, yes.
Spikes.
Oh,
something else,
Spikes on him.
spikes and everything. I thought he was becoming a sea urchin or something. So I could see that point.
This video is sponsored by NordVPN. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. It's a tool that encrypts your internet traffic and hides your IP and virtual location. You might be asking yourself, why do I need this? Well, you like watching anime, right? Or shopping online? Or browsing the internet using the public Wi-Fi? But are you aware of the digital snooper? It can be anyone, such as your internet provider peeking at your internet activities, or a cyber criminal attempting to steal your credit card info, or a hacker near you trying to steal your sensitive data. This is where NordVPN comes in. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites, and lets you enjoy your favorite anime content securely and remotely. NordVPN also allows you to overcome internet censorship. All your traffic is routed through a remote server, so you can access websites that are restricted in your country. If you want to watch anime that is only available in Japan and not in your country, then use NordVPN to connect to Japan's server. It's that easy. NordVPN is available on most devices. You can also download NordVPN from the App Store. Use our link to download NordVPN. Get started today to protect yourself.
You know those parasites that goes inside insects?
Yeah.
The zombie parasites, the cordyceps?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so
what
it's
it
like
was.
The Last of Us. Gotcha.
You know, I do actually think though that was his obsession with her was also part of the spiral's curse. We know that the spiral tried to get to Kyrie because her hair starts spiraling, and then she chops it off. She escapes it, like narrowly.
And it
later,
just wants to get back to her.
yeah, it wants to get back to Kyrie. So we notice, like, even in the later episodes, when it's trying to suck her up into the sky, the spiral has an obsession with Kyrie. So I think this
she is the
man
center of it all.
yeah, this man becoming obsessed with Kyrie is essentially just the spiral possessing him.
And then he
For
gets
all
swept up
we
by the
know,
whirlpool.
It's I would agree that basically it's not about the man being punishing, it's about everyone being cursed that leads to say, come join us, and how dare you escape me.
Exactly.
It is based on the theme of obsession. Like this curse kind of enhances your obsession. That's it.
It just brings
Well,
out the
yes,
worst in
because
you, really.
obsession is very close
Yeah.
to madness. Did you know that?
Of course, it will lead to madness. Of course.
That's all they wanted.
So basically, it brings out the worst in people.
Yes.
Whatever
Pretty
is
much,
there.
it enhances. I feel like it enhances whatever jealousy or obsession they already have harbored in them, and just makes it worse.
Yes, which makes it delicious, don't you think?
Yeah,
I don't know about delicious, but it's interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Seeing the madness of people and how it drives them, even like the simplest ones, like the bully becoming a snail, the victim slowly becoming a snail, then the teacher becoming a snail. Yeah, I can
All
see
of
that.
you becomes a snail.
Snails for everyone.
Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking now.
Yeah, and that's another interesting thing too, because if you recall, the first person to be transformed into a snail, I can't recall his name right now, His
Yeah, the slow dude.
his fatal flaw was being very lazy and slow.
Oh.
And then the spiral turned him into a snail, which is like
Mm.
the embodiment of laziness and slowness. So it brought out the very worst in him.
Yes.
I think that's a pretty interesting observation.
What about the ending, like the last episode, and when the camera crew's coming, they're like hearing there's a storm that's been going on. Their whole thing gets yeeted, and the reporter is just briefly there. Then she gets stuck in the house, and we never see her again. That was interesting for the outsiders to actually, sorry, I say outsiders, the newscast to come in. They're like, oh, this is going on, but the spiral was like, oh hell, no, get out of here.
Well, it just
Yeah.
shows that what's it called? The town cannot seek help outside because they've been cut off from the rest of the world. And that could be
Local
due
issue,
to the
folks.
curse. Yeah, that could
Yes.
be due to the curse because the
It-
curse is making sure they are isolated from everybody else.
Well, yeah, that's why it stayed in the city.
Although I'm just curious to know, do you think this curse would be happening in other locations, or is it particularly for that area, that town?
It was specifically for that area.
Okay, so there you go. So
Yeah.
it's just gonna cut off everybody and be like, yeah. And anybody who tries to like force themselves in, well, then they'll just get.
Well,
sucked
they
in by
get caught in the curse too. That's the joke.
Yep, that's it.
So they get
what you deserve.
hell no
Yep.
to the no 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 hell to the no hell no.
Well, Hammy, is there anything else left? I think, well, since it's only 4 episodes, it's a little tough to dissect a lot, but I think that's about it from my side. I don't know if there's anything else.
I mean, yeah, we discussed the main themes. We kind of dissected the characters a little bit. Talked about the most important ones, at least. Talked about our complaints and our the pros and the cons of the series. So to summarize, I guess what I would say is you should watch it. It's enjoyable. It's really good. I liked it a lot. Of course, there's only so much you can do with only 4 episodes that are half an hour long each. So
they should have added at least 1 more episodes to not only expand some of the short stories,
yeah.
but to also put the lost episode in there.
I
Oh
mean,
my
maybe.
god, he's so upset about the lost episode.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I mean, whether or not they put the lost episode in, I do feel like that would have been interesting. But regardless,
at least expand the stories that are already there,
yes,
so that people get more content about it. Like the
That's what I
Jack
was
in the
gonna say.
Box part, like I recognized that it was him instantly, but I was like, wait, but we didn't do anything with him yet, so how is he like this now?
Yeah, like why?
Yeah.
Actually, Hammy,
Yeah.
since you read the manga, you're the only one who's actually read the manga. Was there any particular story that you would have liked to have seen that was not already shown, even briefly, in the Uzumaki series?
Well, probably that one, and that's why I talked about it, because
The
I
Jack in the
feel like the theme of obsession and being haunted by something is so prevalent in it that having Kyrie be haunted by his death would have merged into that theme perfectly, and
Yeah.
they kind of fumbled that.
I think they fumbled with a lot of characters, the key ones, not really. I don't know. I guess it almost looked like it went over their heads. Curious specifically, it felt to me that every time someone died or something, it's like, oh no. It's like, oh okay, continuing on. Then we got our main boy. He took it and he kept it and he stuck to it. He's like, oh shit, you're dead. Oh shit, you're dead. And it stuck with him. With some characters, it just went right over, just like the adult. It was like, oh, that
Yeah.
happened. Oh, it went over. So I'm like, maybe that Jack in the
Oh,
Box
no.
episode would have been a lot more impactful.
Oh no, we killed Ted.
It would have given her
Oh,
some
no.
depth.
Oh, for sure.
Because
Absolutely.
even in the manga, I fully admit she's kind of has horror character protagonist syndrome where she's a little dumb for the sake of the plot.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, that's unfortunate.
And like Shuichi's like, wow, everyone's dying. I think we're cursed. And she's like, yes, honey, let's go to bed, type of thing.
Yes, that's the point.
Like
If
she tries.
if I understand this one particular detail, I think in the story they attribute her to having blonde hair, even though there's no color and everything. But they attribute her to having blonde hair because they want to pay tribute to Alfred Hitchcock's work at the time. During that period.
Actually, just to myth
She's
buff,
ginger.
she's a ginger. In the official
a
colored
ginger?
artwork,
Oh,
she's
that
a
Yeah,
ginger.
she's
explains what
actually
I
a ginger.
saw. Whoa.
She's
My
not
bad.
blonde at all.
My boy, you're going for the ginger.
Yeah, boy.
I see where you got the idea based on her characterization. Don't get me wrong. But my boy, she's a ginger.
But I was gonna say in the manga, they at least had that scene, like that story of her to show that she did have some mental clarity and like depth. But in the anime, I should say, I feel like they really played up that whole, oh, well, just another day type of vibe she had going, while Shuichi was like coming apart at the seams.
Mom dead, dad dead.
And you see, and he's like, yeah, we're going to die. And
He
she's
worried
like,
enough for the
yes,
both of them.
yes, honey, it's dinner time.
Basically, he worried enough for the both of them, and she was just kind of like, well, at least I have you, sweetie.
That's what made it funny too.
It's just funny. Like his parents were going left, right, and center, but at the very end, she loses all of her family. I'm like, damn, not even in episode 1, 2, 3.
that was...
The last episode, everyone gone.
Oh yes, like everybody you love is gone. There's only ice cream.
Okay, well,
And the Dragonfly Gang.
Nani?
Best gang, yeah, best gang.
If anybody survived, it's the Dragonfly Gang. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah, they probably would.
They missed it on the opportunity to make them look like greasers.
Yes,
That would have been funny.
Well, Hemi, do you think there's anything else, or we're good to go then?
I mean, like I said, I think we can just kind of give our summary and like just like a summary of did we like it, do we recommend it, and yeah, I recommend the anime, but I recommend the manga 100 times more.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, I did like the series. I definitely do recommend it for anybody to watch it too. If you don't want to read the manga, some people not might be into reading, whatever. I think it was well done. The series, despite its challenges in production hell, animation was pretty decent. Devoid of color, like we said, it gave it a good, interesting, dreadful atmosphere. Jaime pointed out the music composer, which, let's be honest, the music was also help keep its tone at best. And it's my first exposure to Junji Ito's work, so I would definitely check out also the Netflix show, but I'll keep my expectation a bit different because, like you guys said, it's not the same. It's different night and day with this series and the one on Netflix, but definitely would look out more for his work.
Would recommend watching the anime for sure. It's a good way to just have a pastime, I'd say.
Look, I was just looking for an excuse to hear Urahara's voice in the series.
True.
Because Urahara Shinichiro Miki, Shinichiro Miki, sorry. The voice of Urahara voices Shuichi in the first place. So, yeah, that was just an excuse for me too.
I mean, I agree with you guys that the pacing for the show could, as a miniseries, it kind of works. But I agree with you guys. It could be 1 hour long episodes too. But
I
what can you do?
wish they did put more episodes.
But Potenza, like I said, maybe because of the production issues they were going through, especially with COVID and everything, maybe they just had to do what they can with
that's understood. That's much is understood. I just wish that production hell did not go this way.
Yeah, because we waited 5 years for this series, which to me it delivered. Like I said, it's something I did enjoy, but for a lot of people they would have
wanted
given
more.
up by then.
It's just what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the main complaint we all have. But
I
the
agree.
time constraint and yeah. the timing and pacing. Also, disclaimer, I apologize for yapping so much in this episode.
You're very
Junji Ito
passionate.
is like my obsession. So
Look,
No, we like that
at
about
least
you.
it's not me this time, so it's fine.
That's true. Tension never
You did
shuts
talk
up.
a lot too, Tenza. Hold on, Tenza did
Not
talk
as
a lot, let's be
much.
honest.
No, that's true. He was pretty tame. But I think that's the best place to wrap it up before he continues. So, guys, if you like that, be sure to check out the official Otaku Crew at the following social media handles. You got Instagram, Think Otaku Crew, the TikTok channel, the official Otaku Crew, the Twitch channel, the Facebook page at the official Otaku Crew, and the Discord squad. My name is Leifon. We'll see you all next time. Peace out, guys.